Hey, thank you for coming by Tory Magoo 44. Today is the 18th. Is it the 18th? It is the 18th of October. It's Friday. And I'm here with Mr. Anonymous, the internationally famous Norwegian. See his Norwegian, Mr. Cool. Anyway, we're going to do a little thing. This has to do with, I'm going to kind of do a series on how, and I've done this before, but just in case new people are out there who haven't seen it, because a lot of people don't go back to my old videos, so I'm going to do one on how the Church of Scientology snags people in different ways they do. And this is on the youth. And it's really to the parents, to any parents that are concerned about your children, or to relatively younger people. You know, if you're teens on up, you should watch this video, because I'm going to tell you this is really how it works. You're walking down the street, and I have these on because this is part of it. And I have this on because this is also part of it. Scientology destroys families, and they do. And they really do. And it's one of the key reasons why you want your kids to know not to do this. So, you know, you're walking down the street, let's say Mr. Anonymous is the person, and he's just kind of like, just walking down the street. And you're like, hey, do you want to do a stress test? And he's kind of like, not really. And you're like, no, you really need to. You know, I know that, you know, there's a lot of stress out here, and you really should be thinking about it. Because, I mean, look at your horns. They're not looking too good today. And so right away he starts feeling a little bad, and he's like, oh, yeah, maybe so. I hadn't really even thought about my horns. Okay. All right, I'll sit down. I'll have a stress test. So he sits down. All right, so pick up the cans. Okay, and squeeze the cans. It has this whole little drill that they do. It's called the stress test, right? But basically, we're going to tell Mr. Anonymous that there's something wrong with him. And there is. You're very stressed out, Mr. Anonymous. And he's like, really? I didn't think so. Yep, you are. But here's the good news. There's a very good chance if you buy this book that we have, which I always have. Wait, let me get it. Oh, I don't know. Where is it? Anyway, it's the Dianetics book. I got it here somewhere. But anyway, they'll try to sell you the Dianetics book. And I see it all the time. I walk by their Scientology testing center, and they're out there, oh, you need to get this Dianetics book. And the first thing I say is, don't waste your life, don't waste your money. I was in it 30 years. It's a giant con. And people are literally almost getting out their money, and they're like, really? And they take their money, and they're like, thank you so much. It's true, right? So anyway, we want to save Mr. Anonymous from that kind of thing. And if you're a parent, obviously you want your kids to understand that this kind of thing can happen. And they go into college campuses, and they do their little stress test there, and they go into malls, and they do their little stress test there. And you have to let the kids know, wherever those are, don't sit down. Because see, here's the thing. People think, it's just fun, I'll try it out. And the next thing you know, they're in. They're hooked. And the next thing that Scientology does, because you're a parent and you're like, wait a minute, I don't want you doing Scientology. And they're like, guess what? It's us or your family. That's it. And obviously you want to go free and to bridge to total freedom with Tom Cruise and John Travolta and blah, blah, blah. And they start pitching out all these names, and your kids are like, well, it must be good. They're not really seeing the horns, right? They don't really get that this is what's going to happen. If they don't get you to come onto the program with them, eventually they get the kid to disconnect from you. And that's what these are. Is they make the person who leaves, like moi, woke up after 30 years, and what happens? They declare you suppressive, which you've seen my SP declare. I've shown it a number of times and might again, but I'm not going to tonight. But they declare you suppressive, and then from that, no one is allowed to talk to you. Not anyone. And I mean not anyone. People go, oh, well, that's like shunning. No, it's not like shunning. It's way worse than shunning. Because if you talk to someone who's declared suppressive, you're declared suppressive. And it's awful. My good friend Lori, who I mention all the time, her 2 kids will not talk to her. It's awful. My dear friend Ida Camburn died. Her son of 30 years never talked to her. He got into the church. She was a strong, strong advocate against the Church of Scientology after it because, you know, her kid wouldn't talk to her. But, of course, they'll do their thing like this, where they're like, you know, we really, really care about you. That's it really do. I mean, that's a thing. We really care about you. We really want you to know that it's just going to cost a little bit of money, and then we'll get you on course, and then you'll be right in there, and that's the way it is. And it's awful. It really is, because it's peer pressure, and it's people around you, and it makes it look like it must be good, because Celebrity Center looks really snazzy. You walk in and you're like, wow, this is pretty. This looks pretty cool. And everybody's like being really nice to you. And it seems like, well, it seems pretty cool. Watch The Truman Show. I say 1,000,000 times, it's very similar to the Scientology Truman Show. So watch it. Let your kids know. Do not do any of their stress tests. Don't start working for a Scientology company. If they start asking you to do ethics conditions, have your kid get out of there, help them get another job, because it's awful and it only gets worse. Trust me on that. We used to say it all the time when we picketed. Find out about Scientology, it's worse than you think. And I'm not kidding. They do. Scientology destroys families. Fact. All right. So anyway, it's almost Halloween. And this is not a Halloween costume. This is my Scientology true story. They make you into the devil. And none of my 30-year friends will talk to me or my husband of 27 years. So that's pretty awful. So, but luckily, thankfully, I've made friends all around the world that are just wonderful people. I mean, I can't tell you. It's so great. And it's so amazing. If anybody's in and lurking, do not stay there because you think you're going to lose your friends. Because there's so many great people out in the world that are way better than that little group of people that you think are your only friends. And there aren't many left because a lot of them have left. So there you go. Thank all of you. I love you. Peace out.